swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Please be seated.
There come a time when you decided it was time to go home.
Yes, ma'am.
Who was the driver?
I was.
Did you, at the time that you were leaving the party, observe Melissa Rumrill's demeanor?
Yes, ma'am.
And can you tell the court what she was like?
Very intoxicated.
When you say that, what did you observe?
She had to lay down by the time we got to the car. At one point in the night, Joe started drinking much heavier than usual. He was upset by the way that Melissa was acting and was trying to pass out, in his words.
Did there ever come a time in the past when Melissa talked to you about how much she liked to drink or what kind of effect she strived for when she would drink?
She described herself as a blackout drunk. The original goal was to make it back to her mother's house in Holt.
Did there come a time during the course of driving to Holt that there was a decision to not go there?
Yes, it was very shortly after we actually left the party.
Can you tell me, did you discuss this with Melissa, or how did, you were the driver, why did you turn it around?
At one point, Joe said, we can just go back to the condo at Burwood.
And was that agreed upon? So
Yes.
that you turned around?
Yes, ma'am.
And so did you go home?
Yes.
To your apartment?
Yes, ma'am.
When you got out of the car, can you tell us what happened next? You're home at the apartment, you get out of the car.
When we got back to our place on Burwood, Matt went inside, and Joe continued throwing up outside of the car. And then I just told Joe and Melissa that I would meet them inside because we were where we were staying for the night.
Before you did that, was there talk about them driving?
Just before they wanted to go to Holt, and we decided that they were going to stay at Burwood.
Did there come a time when you told them whether or not they should drive or shouldn't drive? Did you tell them?
In the car. I mean, that was why when we were going to Holt, it was because I didn't want them to drive there.
What did you say to them?
I said there's no problem staying at our place tonight because you can just wake up early and go home. It was not necessary for them to go back to her mother's place in Holt. We entered through the garage, and then the garage door goes directly into where we live, and I left the garage door open. I left the door into our place open, and
Why did you leave it open?
because they were supposed to follow me inside.
What happened next?
I heard Joe's car start,
What did you do?
ran outside.
When you ran outside, what, if anything, did you see?
Melissa was driving with Joe in the passenger seat.
Were you the one who texted him after they drove away?
Yes, ma'am.
And when was the last text you received from Joseph Varden?
1:13 in the morning.
1:13 a.m.?
Yes, ma'am.
August the 20th, 2008?
Yes, ma'am.
And then how long after that before you were notified that Joseph had been hurt?
The next morning, we received a call from a friend of ours who heard it through sorority
I
connections.
don't need to know what you heard, but it was the next morning.
Yes, ma'am.